You're listening to Tripod, the Tricycle Creative podcast, produced for anyone interested in being a better digital and content marketer. Host Ross Erosion is a marketing coach, content creator, and entrepreneur who brings you helpful tips, social media updates, inspiring interviews, and his own unique perspective on how to tell your story and grow your business. So sit back, relax, and let's get pedaling.
Howdy, boys and girls, and on this episode, we are talking all things SEO with Fernando Angulo from SEMrush. This was an episode I put together by popular demand. A lot of people want to learn about SEO. It is an incredibly complex subject, but I am so happy that Fernando joined us because he breaks things down very simply. And also, stick around at the end of the episode. Thanks to Fernando and his team at SEMrush. They are giving us, and I guess you, the listener, a exclusive offer for the SEMrush platform. But on this episode, we are talking about the difference between SEO and SEM. We're talking about the 3 things that business owners and entrepreneurs can do to improve their SEO. We're also talking about technical things like SERP and featured snippets and zero-click results. And if you don't know what any of that means, that's okay. That's why we're talking about it. Also, we're going to talk about Fernando's predictions about artificial intelligence, data, and the future of search. So sit back, relax, and let's get pedaling.
You're listening to Tripod, the Tricycle Creative podcast, produced for anyone interested in being a better digital and content marketer. Host Ross Erosion is a marketing coach, content creator, and entrepreneur who brings you helpful tips, social media updates, inspiring interviews, and his own unique perspective on how to tell your story and grow your business. So sit back, relax, and let's get pedaling.
This is Tripod, the Tricycle Creative podcast, and today I am joined by Fernando. Fernando, hello.
Hi, Ross.
How's it
Nice
going?
to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. There is no better time, I feel like, than now that we are all, self-quarantining and whatnot to use this opportunity to connect with each other. And I'm so happy to have you on the show today because we're going to talk a lot, maybe exclusively, about SEO and SEM today. And it is a topic I get asked about all the time. So I'm so happy to have you here. And why would I have Fernando here? Well, he's going to help answer that question. Fernando, why don't you tell us in, 3 sentences-ish, who are you and what you do?
Great, perfect. 3 sentences. Okay, let's start with the first one.
Hold it to you, exactly, Fernando. Don't worry. I'm not counting words or anything.
No problem. I will do it like this. My name is Fernando Angulo. I'm head of communications at SEMrush or SEMrush, how you prefer, you can pronounce it. And I've been working for the company the last 8 years. It's going to be 9 already. Basically, I was, since the beginning of the company's marketing efforts, working as basically everything. I was doing sales, then customer success, then marketing. Then I was working with my own teams. And the last 3 years, I've been doing a lot of conferences because we established several processes for multiple teams with remote workers, with connecting different offices. So I was into the creation of the first blog that we opened 6 years ago. Right now, we have more than 6 blogs in different languages. We're publishing about, I will say, 54 pieces of content per week in different languages. So we had a lot of experience doing the things that we do. We create different, we develop different tools for different processes. The most important one, of course, is SEO. Then is SEM, social media, content marketing, and the latest updates that we have are related to competitive intelligence with market research. So basically, we are all into online visibility. If you have a blog, if you have a website, if you have something online, we can help you to make it better.
It's interesting you say that because I've been a fan of the product for a while, and I've bounced in and out of the platform, and I have definitely seen in the past several years, definitely a iterative, a like building of new tools and things into the platform that all kind of then work together. So let's take a step back for a second. For those of you out there who are listening and are like, okay, I know SEO maybe, but what's SEM? Do you want to explain the difference between SEO and SEM, Fernando?
Sure. If we are talking about SEO, we're talking basically about all the activities that you're doing on page, off page, on site to make your website more visible on the search engine. So you can create content, you can do for example, SERP optimization, SERP features optimization. You can do your markups. You can create more buzz around it organically without any budget. So you're not paying for getting in there. But if we're talking about SEM, so search engine marketing, there you have different other possibilities. But you are using a budget, so you have some money allocated to create ads to give you more visibility quickly.
And that's, it's I have when I work with my clients, oftentimes again, a core product being these things called the roadmap sessions, but a big part of that exercise, we talk a little bit about what are these words you want to be associated with, what words fit your service, that kind of thing. And I like to approach SEM as kind of a core or starting point for a lot of marketing efforts, because whether you're doing it organically or doing it as SEM, as a paid component, understanding the keywords and key phrases that you want to be associated with, that's a critical exercise for both organic and paid. Do you agree?
Oh, yes, that's definitely correct. Because when, for example, you are searching for, where you're trying to answer to this question, who are your competitors, right? So basically, you have two types of competitors: the ones who are doing SEO, so they're going to be ranking from 1 to 10 in the first page of the results, and the ones who are paying for getting higher than their organic results with ads. But the question here is, the more accurate competitors that you have are the ones who are investing some money on the most appropriate keywords. So I will say you need to have the knowledge about of both processes here to find out who your competitors are.
So why is SEO something that businesses should look at, invest in? And again, SEO, we talked about, that you're not spending money, but it's not on ad spend, right? You're spending money on resources to, ideally, your marketing people, your web people on SEO. Why is it important? Why should someone pay attention, and why should a business entrepreneur want to have this as part of their company?
Yes, the first and most important thing here, I will say that SEO, it lasts. So you have your results, you are there, you are ranking for your keywords, and you're gonna be there for a long, long time. And also it will take some time to rank for those keywords, but your results are gonna be there. And the difference with the SEM strategy, paying for ads, your visibility is gonna be just at the moment when you are paying. If you are just canceling the payment, if you are just not investing anymore in ads, your visibility is going to be off as well as your payment. So definitely SEO results last. And I have a lot of conversation these days, when people from companies that were investing a lot of money on ads, they were saying, oh my God, we should invest it, because everybody's at home these days, right? Mm-hmm. We should invest it in SEO 6 months ago or a year ago, because those results were right now ranking a lot. They are basically SEO results. A lot of companies, and I will say big brands, are just saving that money from ads to the Q3 or Q4 for this year, because right now it doesn't make much sense to do a lot of SEM if you are, I don't know, a company that is affected, like, for example, flight companies, hotel companies, those who are really affected. It doesn't make sense for them to burn money doing ads because nobody's going to be acquiring their services. So they're in big troubles, but they're saving that money for the next quarter.
I love that strategy right now, given the new normal we're in as we record this with coronavirus and affecting so many industries. The approach of even taking some of that, what could be SEM, so again, the search engine marketing spend, and maybe investing it, because I really look at SEO as a investment, because to your point, it lasts. But I think what people need to understand, like SEO is kind of like a long-term investment, right? And you're not going to see results necessarily, or you shouldn't have the expectation to see them overnight. It can happen, certainly, right? It can certainly. We have a client we're doing some SEO work with right now. We've seen tremendous results, but that's been over 3 months, right? So SEO is something that, yes, you can start to move the needle a little bit, but it's a long-term investment game, and the gains you're going to get are going to last. SEM, by contrast, is kind of like, kickstarting it. But to your point, it's only it's only going to go as far as the money you put into it. Once you stop putting money into it, the bottom kind of falls out of it. And I think this is also where starting with SEO, maybe even sometimes before social, is a really smart investment, because social is kind of like that too. Social, when you stop publishing and posting, you see your gains impacted. SEO, again, you can continue to have gains and wins from the work that you did 3 months ago, a month ago, a year ago. So it's truly something that every business should be looking at and considering, when they're looking at their overall kind of digital marketing strategy. So Fernando, let's say I'm a business owner, but I work with several other business owners, and they're sitting there and they're saying, SEO sounds awesome. They've just heard what we just said, and they are like, okay, I'm somewhat sold. I'm intrigued, right? Well, absent of hiring, there's a couple, there's a lot of options you have, right? Like with digital marketing, they could certainly start using SEMrush, because again, that's a search engine SEO tool. And for those of you that might be interested in that, we're going to talk a little bit more about that later in this episode. And Fernando's been incredibly generous, so we have kind of a discount promo code type thing for you. So stay tuned for that. But they could also hire an agency. But let's say they want to just dip their toe in. What are some things that a business owner, a entrepreneur can do to start to, impact positively their SEO?
Yes, most of the business owners, most of entrepreneurs that already have some businesses, they have some users or clients, and for them, it will be really useful to start answering users' questions, answering clients' questions, creating content with those answers. So that I will say is the most efficient way to start today. If you ask me the same questions, I would say 5 years ago, I will definitely suggest doing some other stuff like, create some posts, then go with links, and let's wait for you to rank, because that was easy at that time. But today, your content needs to answer people's questions. So for the results that we're seeing today, and for the research that companies like, for example, Jumpshot and SparkToro and SEMrush, we are analyzing their SERP results. We found out that most of the people are not clicking on any result. I would say today it's about 50% of the people that are not clicking on any result in the first page of Google. That's why, for example, Google is creating their own results, which are called SERP features. There are basically videos, images, side links, locations. And there are another type which are called feature snippets, which are an amazing box with a list or a table or a paragraph. And below every single search feature, we have another type of result that are called people also ask. And you were saying that if you want to create your SEO strategy, you need to wait at least 3 months, right? But we also find out that if you are creating content that is already format with the right format for getting feature snippets, you can have immediately, and I'm saying this really seriously, you can have immediately the people also ask result, because for some reason Google is giving right now an opportunity to everyone to rank for a question keyword and the answer for that question keyword into a people also ask result. And I was doing an experiment at the beginning of this year with an university in Australia with the guys from there, and we created the format. So the format is basically this one. You need to have the right question or a list of questions about your products or services. Let's say how to open a bank account, how to transfer my stocks to another bank, for example, something like that,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Which is high volume. So a lot of people are searching for that. You can have a beautiful result there with a featured snippet from a bank, let's say, or for a financial institution. But if you are trying to answer how to do stock marketing, for example, for millennials, right, or for young people, or where to acquire insurance for young drivers, something really niche. If you're answering to that in 3 hours, Google was indexing that question, and we receive the people also ask result, which is below the feature snippet. So that was insane.
That's crazy.
It is, right? And it's really good. So you don't need to rank in the first page of Google to do that. In the second, you don't need to rank even on the 10th page of Google. So that's 100 results already. You just need to have the right format with the content.
So Fernando, I think you probably will have a couple other things, but I want to stop you and talk a little bit about just your first juicy recommendation when it comes to what businesses can be doing, and that is creating content around questions around their business, right? And are these, when you talk about Google, so we may throw around this thing called SERP. Okay. And what SERP stands for is search engine results page. And that's when you do a search, it's what comes up right on Google. It's what comes up. The featured snippet, and people also ask, and some of these things, are those in the category of, I think what they're calling like the 0-click results, that people are actually getting their answers without actually having to click? And that's, and can you talk a little bit about that, about the 0-click type of results and the impact that might be having with some of your clients, or what you're seeing with that in your experience?
Yes. Basically, yes, that you're mentioning right now, the 0-click result is what we found out on the SERP, on the first page of Google, or the page of the results when you are creating a search query. So you have all the information in the first page with that featured snippet. For example, how to boil an egg, right? You have step 1, step 2, step 3, an image. And you are not going to be clicking on that result because you have already all that information there. So right now, the number of featured snippets for any single question in any industry is about 85%. So for every single question everywhere, there's going to be a featured snippet. But this is the number for people also ask results is even higher. It's like 99% already. So right now in the health industry, for example, the number of questions about what is coronavirus, how to whatever the question is in the health industry is growing like really crazy. So for every single question, there's going to be an answer as result. If you want to rank, for example, how to apply for a bank mortgage, for example, you need to have the name of your brand. You need to have the location of your
that's
offices.
smart.
Yes, so you need to own your own result with your own data. So
you
for
need to be
any
thoughtful about the featured snippet and what's being included, and even inside of that, if it's a zero-click result. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
That's an investment on the future. And I will, my second tip will here will be to have this question keywords with the name of your brand. First one is what is, in this case, I will say the name of your brand or your own name, or who is, where is, and how to, whatever the question is. So those three question keywords are the main ones. What is, for example, what is SEMrush, right? You will have there a beautiful feature snippet, and people also ask then a corporate page from Wikipedia, and you have a lot of videos there. So you need to own your own brand names or the questions that are related to your business, all of them. The third and last one will be to try, and this is an experiment, of course, to try to do that by voice search.
So you think and you believe, and I'm sure you have a lot of data because of where you are and what you do. So optimizing or thinking on voice search, that's kind of a second piece to think about that from your overall strategy. So how is that different than planning for what I'll call traditional search? How are those things different?
Yes. When we're talking about a traditional search, or going for your main keywords, creating your semantic core, things that are related to your business, but that depends on the goal of, that you have. If your goal is traffic, which is good, most of the companies, they are online because of the traffic that they're receiving, that's something good. But Google is also losing tons of traffic. Actually, a couple of days ago, I was in a presentation with an ex-Googler, and he was saying that Google is losing about 200 million people per year in traffic terms, which is a lot. And where those people are going? So basically, there is not only one search engine, right? There are several parallel search engines, which are, for example, Amazon is a search engine as well for products, right? We have, for example, Expedia. We have Quora. It's a search engine for answering questions. So they have a lot of competitors. So for being there in a SERP feature, well, the main idea for Google to create a SERP feature is to retain the user. So they will not need to go to another resources. So you have Google Flights. You have actually, I believe you can. In some countries, there is Google Delivery as well, delivery function, where you can pick from wherever delivery company it is. You have maps, of course. You have videos. You have several other features that are making people stay in Google. So it's part of their strategy. It's part of their products. And it's something that is working really well for them. So we just need to use it. And you know something? Most of the people, they are not aware that they have, by default, already some feature snippets. I was asking to some guys in India last year, how many feature snippets you have? They were business owners, of course, with their websites. How many feature snippets you have? And they were telling me, we don't have feature snippets. We are not working with that. You're the first one talking about that. I said, okay, let me check that on SEMrush, because we have this feature that is called organic research. You just need to copy your domain, and we copied their domain, and we found out that they had around 5,000 feature snippets. And it was, oh my God, what? How does that possible? Because Google is pushing by default. If you have the question keyword, right, is there. You have a piece of text that is kind of using the same amount of words that they are using for the features, for the feature snippets. So they are using that information from your website by default. But if someone from their competitors are going to be checking that, you can just immediately have the right amount of words, the right size for the images, the right keyword, and it's just within days. In a couple of days, you're gonna be beating that result.
And I think that's a big thing to remember. And what I tell my clients who are interested in SEO is that SEO is absolutely an ongoing thing for that very reason. You may incidentally be falling into, search results, right? You may not even know. Or maybe it even is a strategy and you are, but if someone else is actively trying to get that traffic, get views or get sourced for a search, they're doing the same thing. They're working against, I say against you, but they're working for those eyeballs. They're working to get on that front page. They're working to get on those featured snippets. They're working to get their video pulled in. They're doing these things also. So it's an ongoing operation, right? To, I would say, not only just maintain, but obviously to grow too. And as the search engines themselves evolve and change a little bit, I know that every couple years, Google will kind of make a small, I guess I'm using small in air quotes here. I'm using small algorithmic change or something, and it can completely upend entire industries. So I know in this past year
every couple
of
years, it's kind of every 2 weeks, I will say. It's just really awful. Yes.
Yeah. And so one tool, you're talking a lot about some of, these extra like Google delivery and Google takeout or things like those different things. One tool that I really encourage businesses to be utilizing, if they're not, is Google My Business. Can you talk a little bit about that kind of Google service? And is there anything that you've seen in the past year, month, or what have you? Or, what insights do you have as it relates to the Google My Business if you are a business owner?
Sure. First of all, Google My Business is free, which is already amazing. You can just register there, register your business, having your address there, the telephone, their working hours. If you have an offline business as well, if it's online, no problem with that as well. But if you have, if your business are inside of Google My Business, you're going to be located first. The major thing is, of course, in Google Maps. You're going to be found in different Google other products, their directories. So you will have plenty of chances that people will find out who you are. So just being there is already good for also Google making notice that you exist in the web.
Yeah, it's kind of like you get added to the Google like Rolodex going like way back to the analog days, but you kind of get like Google's like, oh, we acknowledge that you exist. It's like you're on the map, if you will, literally and figuratively.
It is, and I was saying at the beginning, it's a free product. You can use it really well if you are, I don't know, a restaurant, a bank. If you are whatever the product that you are doing, you need to have that location. You need to have that phone number. You need to have that address there for you, and that's going to be working really, really good for you. And from there, of course, you can also have different services and features which are gonna make your business more visible.
And I think people need to understand, like, to register on Google My Business, you need to verify with a physical address. That's how they verify that you are who you say you are. But for many entrepreneurs who maybe, work out of their home and they don't want that address public, you do have the ability, once the account gets verified, to just set up a service area. So if you run an online business, yes, you'll need to verify with a specific address to start, but you can then kind of extend, and keep me honest here, Fernando, like extend it to a service area. So you don't have like your home address out there on Google. My correct on that?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's true. Because you don't have the need to have a local position geographically, so you will be extended on that. And of course, some of the really good things here are, of course, the feedback session or the comments that people can leave, and that's something that is really good for local SEO. If you have good reviews, yes, the reviews. If you have good reviews, people are going to be just finding you better. So you can also rank for that on this SERP feature that is called the local SEO pack, which are basically, if you are saying, I'm hungry, there's going to be a list of restaurants that are near you. So for being listed on those results, you need to be on Google My Business.
Yeah, and that's the thing people I think don't understand. They may say, "Oh, well, I'm on Yelp." And I can appreciate the headache of this answer, but the reality is Google's creating these separate products because, to your earlier point, it wants to have its hands in all these different industries. So Google prioritizes, right? It's their playground when you go to google.com. They prioritize what types of things you see, and they're going to give priority to Google platform and products. So, okay, great. If you're on Yelp, but I would probably, and I think accurately argue that the reason that Google has really been boosting the last, I would say 2 to 3 years, Google My Business, is they didn't want the traffic going to Yelp, right? They want to keep the traffic essentially in their own little ecosphere. So it's all well and good, and it is still very valuable to have things if you're a restaurant like on Yelp, but you do need to diversify. And I think you definitely need to consider, if you're not already on Google My Business, doing that. Because again, Google's going to prioritize its own platform, services, types of thing.
Yes, and here I will need to make a point, because for marketers these days, and I don't know how all this situation is going to end. I believe nobody knows, but basically, I believe there's going to be 3 types of marketers after this coronavirus situation. The first type of marketers, which are mostly the majority of marketers, are going to be still working on users' needs, on users' preferences, on users' questions. So that's why I was telling you need to create content based on users' question, because we are in the user era. So whatever the user wants, we need to provide them, right? They want to, I don't know, to call for a delivery at 2 a.m. While you're in Sydney, for example, you want Chinese, you can do it because you are the user, and there's a company that created a service to provide you wherever you want. We are living in that that moment. These days, we can order wherever we want at the moment we want, wherever we are, right? The second type of marketers, and I believe these are going to be the ones who are related to corporations, to big brands, are going to be those who are working basically with user data. So just for an instance, most of the companies right now, they are showing their data capabilities, their big data analysis, saying, okay, this industry is going up, this industry is going down. We're going to do our maze analysis on this industry. So they're not going directly to the user, but they are going directly to complete countries, complete regions, doing marketing in big terms, marketing with big data, right? And this is going to be working a lot with the artificial intelligence and with the voice search results. Actually, we made a voice search result last year here in SEMrush, and we found out a lot of stuff, which was amazing. For example, we had this research based on 20,000 search queries to understand, okay, how you can get a voice search result, because in your Google Analytics, in your Search Console, you don't have any data about voice search results, right? From the point of view of keywords, which one of them are giving you what, right? So we create this research, and we found out that first thing first, the voice assistants, so the home, the Google Home Mini, or any Android device, they're really good understanding human voices, but they are really bad understanding another robot voices. So
yes. They can't. That's funny. They can't talk to each other, but they can talk to humans. Okay, that's good to know.
Yes.
All right.
So that's really good, and sometimes they are not accurate, right?
Yeah.
But they're really bad when they're understanding another robots and another computers. So that's why we needed to do these 20,000 search queries manually, about 3 months, just repeating question by question in different devices. And we found out that, okay, with most of the search intent related queries, for example, with the transactional or with the informational ones, you have a voice result that was taken from a feature snippet or a people also ask result. So 80% of the results are taken from those two SERP features, from the feature snippet and from the people also ask result. And that was really impressive because, okay, you are investing your time answering people questions, and you will have a feature snippet. Also, as a bonus, you can have a voice search results, which is a complementary, win for anybody that is working with this kind of results these days. And that, of course, is not going to be increasing the amount of traffic for your website, but it's going to be increasing the amount of awareness first and the brand image. So if you have a business and you want to make it more scalable, you need to do brand consolidation, which more of the small banks or medium banks or medium telecommunication company are doing these days. So basically, these type of results are really great. Most of the marketers who are working for corporate businesses, they are going to be working a lot with data scientists, with analyzing big data. And the last part of marketers, the ones who are starting. So what we're going to do if you as a business owner are you're deciding to create a website or to create a marketing process. So the things that you need to do is copying the thing that marketers from small or medium companies, at least till 1,000 people, they're doing. So following what the user wants. That's basically it.
Yeah. Hey, so I have a question for you related to data, right? Obviously, a ton of SEO and SEM is all around data. And I would even say by extension, digital marketing is nowadays. I'd like to hear from you. I recently did an episode, I want to say it was 2 or 3 back, and we talked about Google's announcement to get rid of the cookie by 2022. And I'm curious to hear from you if you've heard any rumblings about that in your circles, or what predictions maybe you have around, I would say, cookie usage. So for those of you out there that haven't checked out that episode, cookies are little pieces of web code that enable a lot of the more sophisticated digital marketing processes. So when you go to Nike and you're looking at a pair of Air Jordans, and then you go to Facebook and they pop up in your feed, oh, that's essentially done with a cookie. And Google has said that they are working to eliminate that tool, if you will. Have you heard anything about that? Do you believe them? Do what's the chatter in your circles around that?
Well, actually, that was a big discussion also on Twitter, because the predictions that Google can make from here to 2022, for example, in 2 years or next year, so many things can change. But seems like something that it's possible. I don't know if it's possible for US, but since I'm in Europe, the society, the way the people are checking for personal data, how companies are.
It's stricter, right? It's more complicated there.
It is,
US, right?
It is. When you're talking about your personal data, everybody's like, no, that's if you touch something that's just against my civilian rights, right? So here I see it like more difficult, but I was really impressed a couple of days ago when Google launched this movement, this research based on where people are moving in this quarantine from every single country. So they basically took all the data from all our mobile devices.
I saw that.
Oh, that was impressive. So that was crazy, right? So if they can do something like, for example, here was a lot of discussion. Okay, so where are my personal data rights Google just launched this, so they can do something like that, and it was really, I would say, beautiful in terms of data analysis. But of course, they know where we are exactly every single moment. They know if we are going to the park, if we are going to our jobs, if we are going to the which store. So they are not basically everything, and they show us from every single country. So they have 220 countries there. So for every single country in the world, they have data about all the people who are using. Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you have an Android or an iPhone device or a Windows device. You will have a locator there, a geolocator, a GPS, and for some reason,
they're
you will
unique.
have some Google
There are like unique mobile identifiers, and whether it doesn't matter. And also, if you're anything like me, I have an Apple device, but it is basically a conduit to the entire Google suite. Like, I do feel like, I think that this Android, like I remember, and I'm sure you do too, back when Android and Apple were just at each other's throats and you were one tribe or the other. That is not really the case anymore. So I don't feel as like it was almost to the point where it's like a social, you're like a social pariah if you had one, if you had an Android and everyone you hung out with had an iPhone, but my iPhone, like I actually don't enjoy a lot of the Apple. I hate Apple Maps between you and me. So like I use Google Maps.
Yeah.
I have G Suite. I use Gmail. I use like Google stuff. And I think that's why almost like the feud became a little less, because Google's like, listen, you can sell as many iPhones as you want, because at the end of the day, we're also going to focus on our products, and people who are on iPhones are using all these, Google products. But yeah, I mean, I think I'd like to hear your opinion on this and your thoughts. I predicted, and actually it was either me. The brilliant prediction, I don't know if it was by me or my co-host, but the prediction was Google is saying they're getting rid of cookies, right?
Yeah.
But we threw out there the idea that, are they just going to replace it with something else that is proprietary to Google? And I don't know if that's a crazy idea. It seems like it could be plausible. They have a considerable market share with Chrome, like that they could roll out this tool that essentially, doesn't allow Facebook to use cookies and doesn't allow these other, but if you use Google, then you could use that technology. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's something that could happen?
Oh, yes, definitely.
So I thought so. Yeah.
Of course. Yes. Actually, when I believe you have heard about Avinash Kaushik, the father of Google Analytics. So he's in charge of right now of the artificial intelligence team on Google. So I was in a private presentation of his in Finland, in Helsinki, and he was showing a device. Actually, it was a Pixel. I believe it was a Pixel 3 or Pixel 4, but it was a prototype. So he was saying that our goal in Google is to have the best result, the best predictive result that people want. So we don't want to give you the best result. We want to predict what you want, even after that you are doing that search query. So he was doing this, and it was just amazing, mind-blowing. So he was asking, hey, Google, I want to order a pizza. And the assistant was saying, hey, Avinash, but I believe today you want a hamburger, right? And I was thinking, oh my God, yes, I want a hamburger. So let's order a hamburger. So the assistant was predicting what he wanted, because the assistant analyzed all the other times that he was eating a pizza, where was the most appropriate timing for ordering a burger, the time that so all the information that only our artificial intelligence can detect, the assistant was doing in just a second. And
that is a, I don't know if it's so far as a fundamental, but that's a shift, right? Because I tell people what they don't realize when it comes to SEO and SEM is that here's what Google's in the business of. Google is in the business of getting you the most relevant, quality, best results for what you're looking for. And the reason I say that is because they want you to keep using Google. If I searched for I want ice cream, right? But all I got was hot dogs, I might say, Google doesn't know what the heck it's doing. I'm going to go somewhere else. And that feels like, and keep me honest here, but that feels like where their business has been is serving up these best possible results. But what you're saying is actually the shift into possibly not only just the best possible results, but now having all of this data and understanding user behavior of saying, taking that next step of what would they do next? That's insane. That's crazy.
And actually last year, I don't remember Lars Page, the CEO, the CEO Google CEO was telling to everyone that, okay, we were a search engine, then we were an answer engine, as we are right now, but we want to be a service which makes you accomplish things. So we want to create a service to get things done, and that's only by suggestions, right? So the artificial intelligence in the future, nearest future, are going to be suggesting, hey, you need more milk? You want me to buy more milk for you? You want me to pay your bills? You want me to take a look on your kids? You want me to do this? So it's going to be just getting things done faster. Did you finish this task on Google Sheets? Did you finish this task here? You want me to help you? You want me to match this? So all suggestions everywhere. I believe that's something that is going to become the next couple of years or even less.
So, all of these changes, you guys at SEMrush have your finger on the pulse. So I want to take some time here as we kind of wrap up. This has been so awesome. Like, I just feel like you are such a wealth of information with this. And I could sit here and talk SEO for a very, 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 very long time. So I actually kind of feel like I'm going to have you as a recurring person on this show because SEO does change so much. But I want you to talk a little bit about SEMrush, right? For those of you out there who are not familiar with it, I would love for you, in your own words, to tell them what is the tool, what does it do, and how can it help someone who's looking to get started or do some work with SEO and SEM.
Perfect. Yes. In my own words, I will say that we develop a lot of features, a lot of tools. We started being an SEO tool. So basically, you could come to our service and just type your keyword, the business, the keyword that is representing your business, your product or service, and we will give you a lot of ideas related to that keyword. So you will have an understanding on what other keywords you can use to create content, to announce your products, to announce your next services. So we were giving you a lot of ideas. These days, the last 3 years, I will say, we shift a lot into content marketing creation. So we are positioning ourselves the last 3 years, SEMrush as a content marketing platform. So we can provide you with tools to write content, to check the SEO strategy inside of the content that you are creating, to give you suggestions, hints based, of course, on data, and to provide you with the latest trends. Because I know this is something that most of the businesses were facing, that I have an incredible idea to write about, let's say, cryptocurrencies. Let's open a blog, a niche blog on cryptocurrencies. Okay, you can do that, but there are another 100,000 people that are doing the same thing.
Sure.
So you need to create relevant or original and really good content on that. And you also need to add some links there, and you need to publish there. So for doing all of that, we're going to give you basically all those metrics are the ones that you need to use. So keyword difficulty, readability, originality, how good is the content that you are creating. So for
Yeah, it's
analysis,
kind of like a grader and like
creation
a
for measuring the results. SEMrush is the platform to have all your processes in one single place. Content creation, content promotion through social media. We have these social media tools for external communication. Actually, these days, the last week, we launched all our social media tools. So we have the social media poster. You can post on any, and you can schedule posts on any social media. You can track the results. All those tools are for free because we understand that this is a difficult situation for everyone. So this is a free tool for everyone. And we have another tool that is a lead generation tool. So if you want to have clients because of Google My Business, of course, and you know that they are expanding, you don't no idea how much they're spending on ads, for example, but you know that they're out there. We can give you the information about who is expanding in your area, so you can pitch them your services as an agency, so you can have more leads if you're an agency, for example. So we have so many tools, but if you want to start with SEMrush, you will need to start with the understanding about what is SEO and content creation.
Yeah, and so I'm very, first of all, I want to say thank you to you and your team. So for the listeners of Tripod, SEMrush has very generously provided us with a promo code that will be in the show notes. So if you go to tripodpodcast.com, again, tripodpodcast.com, that's where we put all of our show notes. There's going to be a link there, and you will get guru level access for your account for, I want to say it's like 2 weeks. We'll have the details on the actual show notes piece, but they have a number of different suites of tools, like many programs and services out there. And Guru provides you with a ton of stuff. I mean, I was joking with you, Fernando, when we jumped on the call. I said, SEMrush is the perfect tool to have during quarantine because you can just, I mean, it's just like kind of rabbit hole after rabbit hole, and it's all incredibly interesting and insightful. And you can explore the different tools, and you have so many different tools inside of SEMrush. So if you have never used any sort of SEO product, certainly if you've never used SEMrush, go to our show notes, tripodpodcast.com, and get yourself that free trial. And check it out, kick it around for a little while, explore your website, have it do, some of the scanning features in there. Is there a particular tool or two, Fernando, that you really love inside of SEMrush where maybe someone should start?
Yes, the number, actually we have a magic tool, and we call it like this, is the keyword magic tool, because from there you can enter a keyword, whatever the keyword is in general. Let's say shoes, right? And you have a button there that you can press that is called the question button, and you just press it, and we will transform you. We will give you all the related.
Oh my God, I'm doing this. I'm literally doing this as you're saying it, and this is awesome. This is awesome. So I did type
really,
exact.
Right?
Yeah, exactly as it's asking me, did this work well for me? Yes, it's super cool. So I put in shoes, and I hit the questions, and yeah, so the number one kind of query by volume is how to clean white shoes. So if you are in this business, in this area, right, that is a very high volume search. So you can dig into this keyword, I'm sure. Oh yeah, this is crazy. You can dig into this, and then it gives you kind of variations on that search. So I'm a nerd at heart, I think. No, I know. So I find SEO incredibly fun and interesting, but this is so cool. This is the keyword magic tool. Absolutely a great place to start. What else? Are there other places that we can direct our people that may be signing up for this? Is there another feature that you really love?
Yes, the second one I will definitely recommend to everyone who is starting their businesses or who want to escalate their processes is the topic research tool. So once you have your keyword, let's say shoes, you pick up the first question, right? How to clean white shoes, right? So you go to the topic research tools, which is in the content tools, content marketing tools, and there you can write how to clean white shoes. So the question that you want to write. This tool is basically a PR tool created for thinking on journalists. So this tool is going to pick the most trending content ideas out there that are related to your main topic. So you can think about the structure of the content because sometimes you have just the main idea, the title, but you need to put some other headers there. And this tool is going to give you more ideas on what is trending right now, what people are searching for today. This topic research tool is searching all the information in this precise moment, so it's working live.
Wow, yeah, this is so cool. I
Did
mean,
you find out?
Yeah, it's awesome. Like I said, this is such a good tool for quarantine when you're inside, and there's stuff that you can tinker with this all day long, and I think get some really insightful like action items, but it's kind of a treasure trove, right? I mean, I think there's just a lot here that you guys out there can check out. Again, the promo code and information on our show notes page, tripodpodcast.com. I'm super stoked. And like I said, I think this is the first of hopefully many other appearances for Fernando when we're talking about SEO. So with that, I would like to give you the opportunity, Fernando, how can people connect with you or with, SEMrush? Do you want to throw any sort of links, information, anything out there? I yield the floor to you to fire away.
Thank you. Nice. Definitely. If you want to connect with me, I'm a very public person. I have my accounts, social accounts in every social network. If you want to find me on LinkedIn, Fernando Angulo. Twitter, the same thing. Instagram, Pinterest. I don't know what. I have also a TikTok account. So whatever.
How you doing with TikTok? Are you? I love TikTok as a platform. I'm a content creator. I fancy myself a content creator, right? But yeah. I could sit in TikTok forever and just watch stuff. But the stuff that people do is so good. Not gonna lie, it's intimidating,
For this time, quarantine time, most of the people I know from the industry are there.
True. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you're kind of forced to create a TikTok account. But yes, I'm not publishing nothing in public there right now because I'm just doing for my family. But as some of the things that I'm doing lately with my kids, I have 2 daughters, are really nice. I believe I'm going to be publishing that.
Lean on the kids for the content that makes its way to Snapchat and TikTok. I think that's maybe a part of the lesson for sure. But there's some awesome stuff making its way there. And just for anyone out there that is looking to connect with Fernando, spell your last name for our listening audience. And of course, all of these links will be on the show notes page, the Tripod Podcast. But go ahead and fire off the spelling of your last name if you don't mind, Fernando.
Yeah, sure. So my first name is Fernando, pretty easy to remember, and my last name is Angulo, Angulo, Angulo.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time, chatting with me, chatting with our audience. I really appreciate you coming on. Like I said, you're such a wealth of information, and SEO is such a moving target, but such an important part of digital marketing that I'm really happy to have brought this to the audience with you riding along with me. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ross. I hope all this information was useful for everyone, and let's stay in touch.
Absolutely. All right, everyone, get out there, check out SEMrush.com, get the promo code from our website. And as always, I encourage you to keep pedaling.
Thanks for listening to Tripod. Be sure to subscribe and rate the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Stitcher, or wherever you listen. Show notes can be found at tripodpodcast.com. Connect with Tricycle Creative on social media at Hello Tricycle, and learn more about how we can help you with your marketing at tricycle-creative.com.